Hey Cancer, thank you so much for joining me for your reading. Welcome to 8th House Things. As always, it is my honor to read for you this morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you might be in the world. It was wild because I was supposed to have done your reading last night and I didn't get to it. But when I meditated on it, on your energy, the word tradition, just tradition, and that's it, came to me. And then this morning, tapping into your energy, I remembered that word, or I guess it came to me again. And there's not even any like context, so I guess the cards will give us context. Let's do one more shuffle for you, Cancer. I hope you're well, by the way, and then we'll start with 4 cards for Cancer. So let's do one more shuffle, and then we'll do 4 cards for you to start with. Four cards for Cancer, please. 4 cards for Cancerians, please. The King of Wands, the King of Coins in reverse, the 7 of Swords, and the 10 of Wands in reverse. So interesting how the King of Wands comes out right next to the King of Coins in reverse, and then the 7 of Swords in reverse, and then the 10 of Wands. I see what's happening here. Okay. Oh, okay. I definitely see what's happening here. There's a very defiant energy around you, Cancer. Defiant in the sense that, you know, you look at the King of Wands and you look at the King of Coins, and the King of Wands goes about his world and goes about his day in a very brash, oh no ways, like I think they're picking up the rubbish. I'm just gonna pause the video throughout the pickup, so just don't mind that. Sorry, Cancer. So there's a way that the King of Wands goes about the world that's very brash, very passionate, very intense, very bold way that he goes about the world. And the King of Coins is more about enjoying his creature comforts, enjoying the fact that he's a king, not necessarily out there to rule and pass judgment. He's a very relaxed king. He just wants to enjoy being a king, whereas the King of Wands actually wants to do stuff, right? And the fact that the cards came out right next to each other, one in reverse, and the one in reverse being the king who is more relaxed, and the king who is more, I actually want to do stuff, let's go out there, let's get it done, tells me that there's certain sides of yourself that you are purposely putting to rest. So certain sides of you are purposely in a dormant state, and it makes sense that a Cancer is a more relaxed, more gentle, has a more gentle approach to life. That side of you is the side that's being put to rest. The very bold and brash and go get 'em attitude within, that King of Wands within you, Cancer, is coming out full force in a way where you're no longer tiptoeing around people. You're no longer, you don't see the point of being in a defensive state. You don't see the point of filtering yourself. There's no point to that. And as much as you've changed your internal compass, so to speak, and it seems as though it's a temporary change, it's a temporary attitude adjustment of, okay, right now the world is presenting me this, so that means I have to give this attitude or this energy back to the world, you know? And there's something about you re-engaging with the way you're re-engaging with the world is vastly different to how you've done it before. The fact that you're even re-engaging with the world, because the 10 of Wands coming out in reverse screams to me that this is someone who no longer feels that they need to protect themselves or hibernate or cocoon themselves from the reality of life. And the reality of life is that there are 7 swords around us constantly, and the choice is, are you literally going to tiptoe around them, or are you gonna play the Game of Thrones? Are you gonna engage in the world in a way where your presence is seen and heard and known? That's how a King of Wands goes about his way, you know? So it's like, sorry, Mr. King of Coins, but your way is not cutting it. It's just not going to do it for me. But I like your king energy, and I'm going to take it and raise it to the degree of the King of Wands, who stands in his kingliness in all shades. That's what a King of Wands does. The card is really fascinating. It's this king who's clutching a wand as though he took it and yeah, as though he took it. He didn't ask for it. And he's folded it in his arms. It's his, it's mine. And that's your energy right now. It's coming through so strong. It's such a very strong start to your reading, Cancer. But I like the fact that the cards are explaining why you are currently in this energy of being brash and bombastic and tenacious. Almost like a mindless ruler who doesn't care about consequences. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing here. It's like the consequences of your actions no longer matter to you. And it's probably because all you have ever done is think about consequences, right? You've tiptoed around the swords, and now that no longer serves you, or it can no longer serve you well to do so. That's what I want to say. 4 more cards for Cancer, please. 4 more cards for Cancer. 4 more cards for Cancer. And there's a lot of, with this one's energy, a lot of fire energy coming through. So it's a very, there we go. Another 9 of Wands. Then the 2 of Coins, the King of Swords, and the 3 of Coins in reverse. Oh, and the King of Swords also came out in reverse. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Just as I was speaking about the one's energy, fire energy coming out for you, here we go with the 9 of Wands. And the 2 of Coins, King of Swords in reverse, 3 of Coins in reverse. And I suppose I understand why, not I suppose, but I actually understand why the King of Swords and the 3 of Coins came out both in reverse right next to each other. I'm inclined to believe, Cancer. Oh, and didn't I say that the word I heard for you was tradition? This is a doing away of what you recognize as tradition. If you look at the 3 of Coins card, it's 2 women who are looking backwards at a church. Some kind of, it seems, yeah, it comes across as a church to me, so a religious monument. Then the King of Coins in reverse. The King of Coins is a more traditional king. He is a king in the sense that he knows what he knows what his title demands of him. He's a king in the archetypal, sense of the word. He's a conqueror, right? That is traditionally what kings would do. They would rule over their people and look at ways to expand the kingdom. That is that is a king, right? And that is usually a king who's sovereign. So and head of state. So I look at the King of Swords in reverse, I look at the Three of Coins in reverse, and I see that there is an undoing of tradition. There is an undoing and a relearning of what tradition is to you, you know, and a redefining what tradition is to you. That's all it is. And and what it's telling me with the Two of Coins and the Nine of Wands is that there's nothing to be afraid of with you reimagining yourself in this world and what tradition means to you. So that's essentially telling me as well that tradition must have been important to you, Cancer. I think more than anything, let's expand the word tradition. Tradition is rules. Tradition is the way, you know, the normal way you've done things. Tradition is guidelines, you know, the guidelines that you've lived your life with, the guidelines you've inherited. So it's like there's this polarity within you that recognizes that tradition has kept me safe, it's kept me sane, it's given me a sense of purpose, it's guided me, but at the same time it's prevented me from literally dancing on the beach carefree, if you will, you know. It's prevented me from taking risks, it's prevented me from just stopping and smelling the roses. So I think you've already done the grappling with, oh, but if I step away from the rules, if I step away from the guidelines, if I do things too differently, what does that mean for myself? You've done the whole going back and forth thing, and now you're in a position where you recognize that no, it's not that deep. Fair enough, it's going to change a lot of aspects of your life, but it's not that deep, and it's always there. You know, you can always fall back on these traditions, they're not going anywhere. But wouldn't it be fascinating to just step out of the tradition and step out of the guidelines and step out of the rule book and see how else you can live life? It's an experiment, right? That's what I'm getting really strong for you, Cancer. 3 more cards for Cancer, please. The Ace of Swords. Yeah. Oh, the Lovers in reverse. There we go. And the 4 of Coins in reverse. Really cool how your first major arcana comes out and it's the Lovers in reverse. But we are definitely seeing a breakthrough for you, Cancer. And it's not necessarily a self-absorbed state of mind, but it's a parting of ways, and I'll explain what I mean by that. It's a parting of the way you used to do things before, and likely there will be other casualties. You know, you might see a shift in the way that you relate to family members, people who you really who you grew up with, who really mean a lot to you. But this parting of ways also spells a breakthrough in the way you relate to those who are closest to you. You'll start to see that they no longer have such a hold over you. You'll start to see that they no longer play such an important role in your own individual decisions. It's about understanding that you are an autonomous and sovereign entity, and that your decision making shouldn't be based solely on what other people think or how you respond to the world. Your decisions should be based on the best possible outcome, and the best possible outcome is happiness, right? And that's what I'm seeing here. So it's like the Four of Coins coming out in reverse, because the Four of Coins for me represents someone who's selfish, right? Holding on to their coins for dear life, even putting a foot over one coin. Literally, that's what the card, it has, that's the illustration on the card. That tells me that you might be perceived as selfish for how you move, but it's essential for you to make these decisions for yourself. And unfortunately, there will be a parting or breaking apart. You will lose people through the breakthrough. And it's fascinating how the Ace of Swords comes out. It's literally like a sword that's in the atmosphere, or the air, if you will, and it's like coming through a puff of clouds, and then the Lovers card right next to it, and it's like the lovers are ascendant or ascending in like a glorious escape of flowers and clouds, and it's like the sky, and they couldn't be any higher. So it's nice, and I think it's poetic justice, if you will, that the Ace of Swords comes out right next to the Lovers in reverse. And also the Four of Coins with these, with how atmospheric it is, it tells me that it's like the changes in the air, the vibes are felt and are resounding throughout the universe. So literally from within and from without, even the moving beyond tradition is felt so deeply that even the atmosphere reflects it. That's what that's telling me. That even if you wanted to avoid it, this undoing of a traditionalist approach in your life, even if you wanted to undo it, you probably would fail at that. So you might as well embrace it. One more card for Cancer, please. There we go. The Four of Swords. Four of Swords, especially in this deck, I'm using Shaheen Miro's The Uncommon Tarot. Three swords are like pointing down towards the person, as though if they dropped, they would kill the person. And then one sword is lying right next to him. It's for me, it's the card of, I just want to be alone, and I could care less. And I think it's a fitting way to end off your reading, Cancer, because the Four of Swords ideally has to do with solitude. But in this instance, and with the context, taking into account the context of your specific reading, what's clear to me is that there's no distress, there's no, it's a very powerful energy to be in, to embody someone who doesn't necessarily care. I think it's very much so, may the chips fall where they may. Let the chips fall where they may. You've stressed enough about it to last a lifetime. You've done the internal work. You're in a or at least you're still doing the internal work. And you're in a position where the odds are both, where you feel as if the odds are both against you and for you. But either way, regardless of what you may think the world is doing, or what cards the world may be dealing with you don't care. And this is the energy, the everyday energy. You don't care. You don't care to care, And I think that's what it means to take an untraditional approach towards life, right? it means that you're not pressed about what other generations have done before you, right? That ultimately in your day-to-day life, it will serve you it will serve you in the most beneficial way to, quite frankly, be Ray Charles to everything right now. And this is what I'm saying. This is right now where you are. Right now where you are, going with the flow. Maybe some days I'll engage with the world. Other days, I'd rather be home watching TV all day. You know what I mean? And I'm enjoying it for you, Cancer. If there's a sign that really deserves this moment of just like, F it, whatever, who cares? It's definitely Cancerians. So thank you so much for joining me for your reading. It's always fun to tap into the world of a water sign. We're very complex people. Have a good day.